Do you know what it feels like to fall in love at an age where people think your story is already over? I was 67 when it happened, and no, it wasn't planned. Love never is. My name is Eleanor. For most of my life, I wasn't lonely. I was busy surviving. There's a difference. My husband passed away when I was 58. A quiet man, predictable, safe. We didn't have a dramatic love story, no grand gestures, no deep conversations, but we had routine, and sometimes routine feels like love. After he died, people expected me to fall apart, but I didn't. I organized his things, handled the paperwork, learned how to sleep alone, and slowly, life became very quiet. Not painful, just empty. Years passed like that. Morning tea, evening TV, the same chair, the same silence. Maybe you've lived this kind of life too, where nothing is wrong, but nothing feels alive either. Then one afternoon, everything shifted. I was at a small bookstore, the kind no one notices anymore. Old wooden shelves, dust in the sunlight. I didn't go there to find anything. I just didn't want to go home. And that's where I saw him. He wasn't what you'd expect. Not tall, not particularly handsome, but there was something about him. The way he smiled at the cashier, the way he held a book like it actually mattered. He looked at me, not through me, at me. "Good choice," he said, pointing to the novel in my hand. I hadn't even realized someone noticed. That's how it started. Just a sentence. Simple, forgettable. But for me, it wasn't. His name was Thomas. He was 70, a retired teacher, divorced. We started talking about books, then about life, then about things I hadn't spoken about in years. And something strange happened. I started laughing again. Real laughter. Not polite smiles, not small chuckles, the kind that comes from somewhere deep inside, where you thought nothing existed anymore. We met again the next week. Same bookstore, same corner, as if we both knew we would. Then it became a routine. Coffee after books, long walks, stories. He listened, really listened. Not like people who wait for their turn to speak, but like someone who wanted to understand. One evening, he said something I'll never forget. "You don't look like someone who's done living." I laughed. "People my age don't start new stories," I said. He looked at me, very calmly, and said, "Maybe that's the problem." Something inside me moved. For the first time in years, I didn't feel old. I didn't feel invisible. I didn't feel like life was something behind me. I felt seen. And slowly, without even realizing it, I fell in love. At 67. It wasn't dramatic. No music, no big moment, just small things. The way he remembered how I liked my tea. The way he slowed his steps to match mine. The way he looked at me, like I still mattered. And that scared me. Because love at this age doesn't feel like a beginning. It feels like a risk, a dangerous one. People around me started noticing. My daughter called one day, her voice careful. "Mom, I heard you've been spending time with someone." I smiled. "Yes?" There was a pause. Then she said something that stayed with me. "At your age, you should be careful." Careful. As if love was something you needed permission for. As if there was an expiration date. I laughed it off, but that word stayed with me. Careful. Because deep down, I knew something she didn't. This wasn't just happiness. This was attachment. And attachment comes with a price. One evening, Thomas held my hand, softly, gently, like it meant something. And he said, "I don't have much time left, but I want whatever time I have to feel real." That's when fear entered, because suddenly I realized something. I wasn't just falling in love. I was opening myself to loss all over again. And this time, I wasn't sure I could survive it. But I didn't stop, because sometimes, even when you know the ending might hurt, you still choose the story. And I did. I chose him, even if it meant paying the price later. I didn't tell anyone how serious it had become. Not my daughter, not my friends, not even myself at first. Because saying it out loud would make it real. And real things can break. Thomas and I stopped calling it meeting. It became part of life, like breathing. He would call every morning, "Still alive?" he'd joke. And I would reply, "Barely. Coffee might help. Small things." But those small things, they started filling spaces I didn't even know were empty. One evening, it rained heavily. The kind of rain that makes the world feel smaller, quieter. He came over. We sat by the window. No TV, no noise, just the sound of rain hitting the glass. And for the first time in years, I felt peace. Not the quiet kind I was used to, not the empty silence, but a warm kind of peace, the kind that feels alive. He looked at me and said, "Do you regret waiting this long to feel this?" I didn't answer right away, because the truth was complicated. "I don't regret finding you," I said slowly, "but I regret all the years I didn't feel anything like this." He nodded, like he understood something deeper than my words. That night, he didn't leave. Nothing inappropriate, nothing rushed. He just stayed. We fell asleep on the couch, side by side, like two people who had lived entire lives and finally found a moment to rest. But life doesn't let peace stay for too long. A few weeks later, everything changed. It started with a phone call from his doctor. He didn't tell me at first. I could feel something was off, the way he paused more often, the way his energy faded, the way his smile didn't reach his eyes anymore. "Are you okay?" I asked one afternoon. He looked at me, really looked at me, and for the first time, I saw fear in him. "I didn't want to bring this into your life," he said quietly. My heart dropped. "What is it?" I whispered. There was a long silence. Then he said it. "Cancer." The word didn't feel real. It just hung in the air, heavy, cold. "How bad?" I asked. He didn't answer directly, which told me everything. Late stage. I felt something inside me crack, not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly breaking. Because suddenly, everything made sense. The way he talked about time, the way he held my hand longer, the way he looked at me, like he was memorizing my face. "You knew?" I asked. He nodded. "For a while." "And you didn't tell me?" "I didn't want to scare you away." That hurt more than the truth itself, because it meant he thought I would leave. And maybe a part of me understood why. Who chooses love when they know it's going to end? Maybe you've asked yourself that too. Is it better to feel something deeply, even if it hurts later, or to stay safe and feel nothing at all? I didn't have time to think about it, because I had already chosen. "I'm not going anywhere," I said. He looked at me like he didn't believe it. "You should," he whispered. I shook my head. "No." "Eleanor, this is not a beautiful story. This is going to be hard." "I know." "You'll lose me." "I know." "And it will hurt." "I know." He closed his eyes, like he was trying to accept something he didn't expect. "Then why?" he asked. And I answered with something that came from a place I didn't even recognize in myself. "Because I already lost years of my life by feeling nothing. I won't lose this, even if it hurts." That was the moment. Everything became real. Not just love, but the price of it. Days turned into hospital visits, medication schedules, doctor appointments. I learned things I never wanted to learn again. The smell of hospitals, the sound of machines, the way time slows down when someone you love is fading. But this time, it was different. Because this time, I wasn't a visitor. I was part of the story. I held his hand during treatments, sat beside him in silence, watched him grow weaker, day by day. And every single day, I asked myself one question: was this worth it? And every single day, the answer came the same: yes, even when it hurt, even when I was tired, even when I knew what was coming. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't just existing, I was feeling everything. And sometimes, that's the most painful gift of all. The days started blending together: hospital, home, hospital again. Time didn't move forward anymore. It just circled around pain. Thomas changed, slowly, but visibly. The man who once walked beside me with steady steps now needed help just to sit up. His hands, once warm and full of life, became thinner, colder. But his eyes still searched for me. Every time I entered the room, "You came," he would say, like it was a surprise. Always, I'd reply, even on the days I felt like breaking. Because love at this stage is not about romance anymore. It's about staying, even when it hurts to watch, even when you feel helpless, even when every moment reminds you that time is running out. One afternoon, he asked me something I wasn't ready for. "Are you afraid?" he whispered. I didn't lie. "Yes." "Of what?" he asked. I paused, because the answer wasn't simple. "I'm afraid of going back," I said quietly. "Back to what?" "To before you." Silence filled the room, heavy, real, because we both knew what that meant. The empty house, the quiet dinners, the life that feels like it's already ended, even though you're still alive. He squeezed my hand, weak but present. "I don't want to leave you like that," he said. "You're not leaving me," I replied quickly, too quickly. We both knew I was lying. That night, I didn't go home. I sat beside his bed, watching him sleep, or trying to. Machines filled the silence, soft beeping, slow breathing, and I realized something that shook me deeply. This wasn't just about losing him. This was about losing the version of myself that only existed with him. The woman who laughed again, who felt alive, who felt seen. What happens to that person when the one who brought her back disappears? Maybe you've wondered that too. We don't just lose people. We lose the parts of ourselves that only existed because of them. A few days later, the doctor called me aside. That tone, I knew it. I had used it myself, years ago. "It's time to prepare," he said gently. Prepare. Such a calm word for something so devastating. "How long?" I asked. "A few days, maybe less." My chest tightened, but I didn't cry. Not there. Because sometimes, when the pain is too deep, tears don't come. I walked back into the room. Thomas looked at me, and somehow, he already knew. "You talked to him," he said. I nodded. He didn't ask anything else. Instead, he said something unexpected. "Do you regret it?" That question, again. This time, it hit differently. I looked at him, really looked at him, at the pain, at the weakness, at the fading life, and then I looked at myself, at the fear, at the exhaustion, at the heartbreak waiting just ahead, and still my answer didn't change. "No," I said softly. A tear rolled down his cheek. "Even now?" he asked. "Especially now, because this pain was proof that what we had was real, and real things are always worth feeling." That night, he asked me to stay close, not just in the room, but closer. I sat on the edge of the bed. He held my hand. "Tell me something," he whispered. "What?" "Tell me a memory of us." I smiled through tears. "The bookstore," I said. He smiled faintly. "You looked lost," I continued. "I was," he said weakly. "Not anymore," I whispered. We stayed like that for hours, talking, remembering, holding on, as if words could slow time, but time doesn't listen. Early morning, everything changed. His breathing became heavier, irregular. The machine sounded different. I stood up quickly, called the nurse, but deep down, I already knew this was it. I held his face gently. "I'm here," I whispered. His eyes found mine, barely open, but still searching. And then, with the last bit of strength he had, he said something I will carry for the rest of my life. "You made the end feel like a beginning." My heart shattered. "Don't go," I whispered, but he didn't answer. His hand slowly loosened in mine, and just like that, he was gone. No sound, no warning, just silence. The kind of silence that doesn't leave. I sat there for a long time, holding his hand, even after it was no longer holding mine back, because letting go felt impossible. And in that moment, I understood the price, not just of losing him, but of loving him. And now, I had to face something even harder, living without him. I didn't cry at the funeral. People noticed. I could feel their eyes on me. Whispers, concern, confusion. "Is she okay? She seems calm." Calm. That's what they called it. But it wasn't calm. It was something deeper, something heavier. It was the kind of silence that comes after a storm, when everything is still standing, but nothing feels the same. I stood there, holding a single white flower, looking at the wooden box that carried the man who had given me life, at the very end of mine. My daughter stood beside me. She held my arm gently, like I might fall. And for a moment, I almost did. Not physically, but inside. Because this time, there was no hospital room to go back to, no hand to hold, no voice saying, "You came," just absence. When I returned home that evening, the house felt different. Not empty. It had always been empty. But now, it felt like something had been taken from it, something that had briefly made it alive. I walked to the kitchen, out of habit. 2 cups. I stopped, stared at them. And for the first time, the tears came. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet tears, falling into a space that no one else could see. Maybe you've experienced this too, that moment when reality finally sinks in, not when people are around, not during the funeral, but in the small, ordinary moments, when you reach for something and realize it's no longer there. Days passed, then weeks. I returned to my old routine, morning tea, evening silence, the same chair, but something was different. It wasn't the same emptiness as before. Before, it felt like nothing had ever been there. Now, it felt like something had been there and left a mark, a permanent one. I found myself talking to him sometimes, not out loud, but in my thoughts. "I saw your book today. I made tea the way you liked it." He would have laughed at this. Small conversations with someone who was no longer there. And strangely, it didn't feel crazy. It felt comforting. One afternoon, I went back to the bookstore. I didn't plan it. My feet just took me there. Same shelves, same dust in the sunlight, but he wasn't there. Of course he wasn't. Still, I stood in that same corner, holding a book, waiting for a voice that wouldn't come. And that's when something unexpected happened. I smiled. Not because I wasn't hurting, but because I remembered the way he looked at me, the way he said, "You don't look like someone who's done living." For the first time since he was gone, that sentence didn't break me. It stayed with me. I sat down in the small reading chair, closed my eyes for a moment, and I asked myself something I had been avoiding. Was it worth it? All of it. The love, the pain, the loss. Was it worth opening my heart just to have it broken again? I sat there for a long time, thinking, feeling, remembering. And then the answer came. Not loudly, not dramatically, just clearly. Yes. Because before him, I was alive, but I wasn't living. And he changed that, even if only for a short time. He reminded me what it feels like to be seen, to be heard, to be chosen. And those things, they don't disappear. They stay inside you. They change you. I walked out of the bookstore slowly. The world didn't look different, but I did. I wasn't the same woman who had walked in there months ago. That woman was quiet, careful, closed. This woman was still hurting, still healing, but she was open to memories, open to feelings, open to life, even at 67, maybe especially at 67. Because now I understand something I didn't before. Love doesn't come with guarantees. It doesn't promise forever. Sometimes it only gives you moments, but those moments can be enough to change everything. So if you're wondering if it's too late, if you're too old, if it's too risky, let me tell you something. From someone who paid the price, the real tragedy is not losing love. It's never allowing yourself to feel it at all. And if I had the choice again, knowing how it ends, I would still choose him every single time.